When we perform movements, we have not only direction, but also the trajectory of entering and exiting from the skin, or in other words, depth. This example clearly illustrates the principles of smooth and sharp entering the skin. We should work taking into account how a plane takes off and lands, not as helicopter. We should enter the skin very smoothly and slowly. Then we should move with the same speed and depth. And finally, gradually increasing the speed, we exit the skin. The task of the master is to make minimal passes. If we make quick lines, we don't get the desired result because it will almost always result in injury. I hope you remember that. To perform lines of different intensities, it's not enough to just change the speed of movement of the hand. Some parts of the lines should be thinner, some thicker. We achieve this effect by means of changing the depth. When we make the movements, we have not only the direction, but also the style of immersion and exit from the skin. If we work as the helicopter does, we will have very dense beginning and the end of the lines. And the lines will look artificial, not like natural hair. And there will be dark spots in the shading. In this video, you can see how to make a line by using different styles of inserting the needle in the skin. The concept of a helicopter compared to a plane. I think you all know very well how a helicopter takes off. It takes off and lands quite briefly and abruptly. A plane takes off and lands smoothly. Let's look again in slow motion. Smooth entry and similar smooth exit. And the wrong way. Extend the moment the plane takes off for as long as possible, as this will ensure that you will get thinnest tail at each line. Smooth immersion into the skin and the smooth long exit will simulate a disappearing tail, just like that of a real hair. While a plane moves across the surface of the earth, we implant an equivalent amount of pigment into the skin. When the plane lands or takes off, there will always be less pigment in these places. Thus, smoothly changing the speed of movement, we create thin, disappearing tails for our lines. The length of each line is always longer by 1.5 to 2 millimeters and extends beyond the design borders. In some areas, for example in the lower angle of the arc, the tail may extend beyond the design borders for 4 to 5 millimeters. Please do not forget to inform your clients that right after the procedure, the eyebrows will always look wider. They will get thinner after healing. The main intensity of the hair interlace will remain in the central part of the eyebrow. However, due to the extension beyond the design form of some hairs, it will look much wider after the procedure. And in order to calm the client and avoid any misunderstandings, I recommend showing them before and after photos of the procedure, as well as photos of the final healed product of this technique. These healed procedures are good examples of the disappearance of the tails of the lines. They are thinner and more transparent, and most importantly, similar to each other. As I mentioned earlier, after the borders heal, the line will always be shortened by 2 to 3 millimeters, just like a plane takes, leaving the least amount of pigment in the skin. The main thing is to do it smoothly, gradually changing the depth of work.